is a topic that is typically swept under the carpet by many for fear of stigma and discrimination. As a result, it has become a pandemic with no end at sight. We will be conducting a series of interviews with medical professionals and survivors to gain their perspective and to broaden our understanding on mental health. We have three special speakers for today. Our first guest is Dr. Wong Meng Kong, followed by Cynthia Kamweru and Izzat Zaid. So the first question for today's interview is, why is mental health an important issue in society today?
I think mental health is an important issue not only in the society today, but it has always been a very important thing that people should be aware of.
Because before, mental health was regarded as something that was a bit otherly, something that other people experienced, and I think this is especially felt in Black and brown communities around the world.
And almost everybody will have a family member or friend or work associate impacted by mental health issues.
In your opinion, has the number of patients with mental illness increased in the present moment, or are they just receiving more media coverage compared to before?
The way I see it, I think it's a little bit of both, because there are a lot of risk factors that people are exposed to at the moment, like struggling with their financial.
Also, from demographics, lengthening life expectancy and fewer children, creating a sandwich generation which has to take care of both the elderly and also their children and grown-up children as well.
Right, because it's such a fresh and prime issue right now, right? In your opinion, what are the main causes of mental health issues? And do you think there's any relevance to current trend, lifestyle, societal pressure, peer pressure, etc.?
I would just say that I think it's very much intertwined between nurture and nature when it comes down to something as complicated as mental health. Not because you live life a certain way, but that's just because of your genetics, because of the way that you have been raised. And some things are kind of out of our control. So some of like the main causes, I would say that maybe now it's compounded by the fact that, there's so much more use of social media in the world at the moment. It's great that people have all this knowledge and ability to translate their thoughts and feelings and able to articulate that really well. But on the flip side of that is that sometimes too much information is also a bad thing, and that can have a negative impact.
Yeah, it's just about striking a balance between
Absolutely.
the input and the output.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think are the steps that we are supposed to take in order to help and understand those who have mental health issues?
What is important is that you must recognize that it's the illness causing all this distress, and that with treatment, the patient can revert to his or her presumably lovable self.
Maybe perhaps you don't think you've ever experienced mental health issues, which is completely fine, because sometimes we don't think that we fit into that category. Like I said earlier, sometimes it's seen as other, it's something other people experience.
And of course, I think it's very important that we educate ourselves with the signs and symptoms.
Yeah, most importantly, the fact that they are not alone. That's
Exactly.
the key thing that you have to instill in them, right? So just to turn the table around, based on your experience, what do you think are some of the things that goes on in the minds of patients with mental health problems, especially when they're going through that rough patch?
We have this term, we call it negative automatic thoughts, where these thoughts, they come intruding to our mind. So probably when it comes to a certain mental illness, these are the common themes that we see. However, perhaps different illness may have different symptoms and different cognitive.
And I think as a friend, all you need to do is let them know that help is available. Knowing that help is available is actually half the battle won. And of course, seeking help is the other half of the battle.
So I think we've come to the last question right now. So what's one piece of advice, or a few if you have, you'd like to give to current generation or anyone going through mental health issues?
Speak to a friend. I think always just recognizing when you ask someone, how are you today? I think meaning it. I think sometimes they can just be like, oh, how are you? It's kind of just, yeah, I'm fine. But
yeah, the default answer is I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm personally a very high functioning, I'm fine. So I could have like 1,000 things that are wrong with me, but I will tell you I'm fine. And
I'm fine, yes.
I'm fine, yeah. And so I think just normalizing asking someone, how are you? And meaning it and kind of staying within that kind of how are you and really hearing what the person is telling you is probably the first step to actually us reaching out to one another in a community.
Thank you for boldly speaking up about your own personal experiences and for sharing your tips for everyone here. So it looks like we've come to the end of our episode for today. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this episode has left you feeling more empowered to speak up about mental health and has given you the confidence to help someone with mental health problems. It's never too late to seek help or to play a role in the life of a person struggling with mental health problems. The time is now. Step up, speak up.